My name is Vichi, and I'm one of the co-founders of Real Talk, which is a mobile app that uses real stories by real teens to help middle school students learn about sexual health and healthy relationships. I care about sex ed because as a high school Teach for America teacher in rural North Carolina, I watched as 1 in 5 of my female students became pregnant before finishing the 10th grade. One of those students was Nene, who was also the valedictorian of her class and had been accepted to 4 colleges. 5 years later, Nene has 3 children and has yet to enroll in school. She didn't have access to a comprehensive sex ed course at our high school, and unfortunately, her story is not unique. Across the country, 39 out of 50 states do not require their schools to teach comprehensive, medically accurate sex ed. And of those that do, they often don't start until high school, which is still too late. Between the 8th and 9th grade, the number of teens having sex more than doubles, and yet we do not offer a place for them to go to learn about how to engage in safe and healthy relationships. To understand where teens currently get their information, we interviewed over 300 of them and asked them where they go when they have questions about sexual health. Their top responses were the internet, and often pornography, or peers and friends who'd been through similar experiences but themselves may not be informed. They choose these sources because they like learning from the experiences of others, and they don't want to be judged for being curious. It was these insights that led us to use stories to convey information, because that's how teens like to learn. So when a teen downloads Real Talk, they're able to browse through a feed of stories that we crowdsource from other teens about their experiences with different sexual health-related scenarios. Every story is carefully reviewed by our team of public health experts and approved by a teen advisory board. Stories are presented as text message conversations and cover a range of topics that promote positive sexual behavior. So let me give you an example. This is a story that comes from a 14-year-old female, and she's telling us about consent, which is something that most teens never talk about with each other or an adult. She writes, "I was texting with my boyfriend last night, and he told me he wanted me really bad and asked me to come over. He never talks like that, and we've only been together a month. We're both virgins, and we haven't talked about having sex, but I like him a lot, and I want to give him what he wants. I told him that I could come over, but I didn't want anything more than kissing. And guess what he said? Oh, that's totally cool. I couldn't believe he took it so cool, and I'm glad that I told him how I felt. Heart eye emoji." Teens tell us over and over again that reading and sharing stories like this one help them to know that they're not alone, and to learn from others about how to navigate awkward and challenging scenarios. Our data shows that on an average visit to an app, a teen will read 7 stories, which is much more exposure to credible sex ed than most of them are getting either in school or at home. We're excited to share that since completing the Fast Forward Accelerator last summer, we've been able to bring Real Talk to teens in all 39 of the states that currently don't require sex ed. Not only that, but Real Talk has actually been downloaded in all 50 states and over 40 countries. Puberty, relationships, sexuality, those are some of the most human experiences that every single person goes through, and yet we never have conversations with kids about them. We're excited to continue using technology to create a space where every teen of all identities has access to the knowledge, skills, and community they need to thrive both in school and beyond. Thank you.